Everybody. So we are going to go over scope. So scope is not the mouthwash, but it's something that defines where variables can be accessed or referenced. Some variables can be accessed from anywhere within the program, and some of them have specific parameters that they can be accessed in. And those parameters are referred to as blocks. Blocks are used in functions. They're used in if statements. They help group one or more statements together. The code is found in between the curly brackets. And now I got some snippets that we're going to kind of go through here. So here we're declaring a function. The function name is rank the smell. And this is where our block begins. The block begins with the open curly bracket, and then it ends with the closing curly bracket. And all the content in between is the block. So let's go ahead and practice that. Let me open up a new one. Let's see, new file. I save this file. Okay. I'm going to go into week 3, and it's going to be scope tutorial.html. And it's thinking. Okay. What happened? Okay. So it's going to go ahead and do the Emmet stuff. I'm going to go ahead and give it a heading. Okay, and then I'm going to find it wherever it's at here. Right click on it, open with live server, and talking about scope. I'll go ahead and open up the dev tools. There's nothing really in there right now, but no, there will be. So let's go ahead and so we're going to practice this function of rank the smell, and then we're going to console log that and return I don't care what you rank, she stinks. So we're going to do something similar to that. So function rank the smell. Oops. Shoot. All right. First, need to do the script because this is JavaScript. So even though we're in the HTML file, we can put script in our HTML file. So now function. See how the colors start changing now? Rank the smell. And we are going to start our little block with the open curly brackets. And it's going to be console log. It's pretty bad. And what else do we have? Return. I don't care what you think. She stinks. So whenever I go in here, if I call upon that function, rank the smell, it comes up. Let's see. You can see it comes up. Make this. There we go. When I call upon that function by typing in the rank the smell, make sure you have the open and close parentheses. It comes up it's pretty bad, which is the console, and then their string of I don't care what you think, she stinks. Okay, so that's the first practice. So again, to recap, this is the block. So in the snippet below, lines 12 through 13 are also the block. So here's another way of doing it. So this is one way to declare a function. With ES6, this is another way to declare a function. So let's go ahead and do that. Const background color equals And again, this is how you declare a function using ES6. This still works, but this is the newer and supposedly more improved way. I'm not sure on them, sold on the improved way, but this is the newer way. So let's do a background color. Okay, so we're going to say let color equal blue, and then we're going to do console log color, and it's going to come up with the variable that we declared, which was blue. To save that, clear this, and what was it called again? Background color. Background color. Oh, okay. See, that's why you need the open and close parentheses, because all it's going to do is just give you your function laid out. So background color, open and close parentheses, comes up blue. Okay. Let's see. Bum 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 bum. Okay. And yeah. So now on the snippet below, we got 20, 21 that are in the block. Let's go ahead and practice that. Okay, get rid of this. I'm just going to comment that out. Okay, so we're going to declare county, const county. So we're always, the county is going to be Athens, and const colleges. We're going to declare another function with the equal sign, open close parentheses, and the fat arrow. That's what I call it. I think technically it's called the function arrow. And we're doing the open curly. And we're going to let 2-year college equal Hocking College. And we're going to return with a statement saying, and we're doing the backticks. I'm really happy to be a student at, now we're going to call upon this variable using the template or the string literal. Yeah. String literal. I think that's which one. No. Template literal, string interpolation, sorry. So we're going to use the template literal with the $, open curly bracket, the name of our variable, which was 2-year college. And then we are going to put, yeah, just finish that up. What else did I have in there? Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, then we're also going to do the console log colleges. And we're calling upon the function. And so the functions, we need to make sure we put that parentheses, open and close parentheses. So let's go ahead and play with that. So let's go here. So let's see what our county was. Athens. That's good. That's correct. Now let's call upon our function named colleges. So let's go colleges. Okay, says I'm really happy to be a student at Hocking College. Okay, that worked. Okay. So this is all pretty much everything that we've been doing, nothing really new here. Okay. So global scope. Global scope are variables that are declared outside the blocks. So they are not bound inside the block. They can be accessed by any code in the program. And here's something in the snippet below. Before we go into that, this is an example of a global variable. It's not bound by anything. Okay. Um, this is bound if we had something within here because it's in the block. This is global. Okay, so in the snippet below, the block is on line 14. Line 14, so it's going to return this color of yellow. Line 11 is outside the block. Okay. Okay, so it's nothing new on that. Block scope. So block scope is a variable is defined inside the block. It's only accessible to the code inside the open curly bracket. Open close curly brackets. It's known as a local variable. So here in this snippet below, line 12 is outside the block on lines 15. So line 12, which is right here, the color pink, is outside the block that's on lines 15 and 16. Line 20 will return blue because it's calling upon whatever was the result of the sky color function. Line 22 will return pink because it's calling upon the variable that was on line 12. It won't look for color on line 15 because you'll note that there's a variable named color and there's a variable named color. It's not going to look for this one because it's scoped out. It can't see it. It just goes straight to here. So this curly bracket and this curly bracket is one scope. And I think that's the only one on this one. So this will only read what's in between. Everything else is outsider, so to speak. The only reason this will produce a result is because it is what this will be. So let's play with that a little bit. Go ahead and comment this out. So we got a constant color of pink. Oops, that's not what I want. Constant color of pink. And we're going to do sky color, make a function of sky color. Const sky color equals open and close parentheses. Again, the fat arrow or the function arrow. We're going to let the color equal blue. Okay, so where was I? So let color equal blue. Console log color. Okay, so let's go ahead and do console log color. And this is going to be will return blue. So this is going to bring back this color. It's going to log this color, this right here. Okay. And everything that's in here is going to be is what this function is calling. So whenever we call upon this function later on, it's going to produce the results that we found in here. And so what was next? Console log sky color, console log sky color. Make sure you got the open and close parentheses for this function. And console log color. So what this will do, well, because this is blue, This is the function, and what's inside the function is going to return blue. So it's going to return, well, return blue. But this one, even though this has the same variable name, it's not going to return it because it's in that particular scope. So it's blind to it. This is blind to everything in here. So what this is going to look at is what's up in here, which is pink. Oops. Save that. Let's see if I did that right. So what was our variable name? So let's look color. Oh, it already popped up. Okay. It popped up because we have the console log thing going on. So blue, blue was one of the first things that was popped up, which is right. So I got an undefined here. Am I supposed to have an undefined? Sky color, console log sky color. I should return blue. Oh, I think that's why. Semicolon. Nope, still didn't do it. So this is pink, and this is blue, which is fine, but this is returning undefined. So let's see what I'm doing wrong here. No. It should return blue. Got any typos? No. Sky color, okay, okay. Light color equal blue. Console log color will return blue, which it does. And then this should be reading this up here. What happens if maybe I don't need that in there? Nope, I knew it because it gives me that. I'm gonna pause this while I figure it out. Okay, I'm back. I think I figured out what I was thinking wrong. So if I refresh this, this comes with blue, pink, which was what the code was. So within the scope, we did the first console log color, and that color is blue. Okay, so it's within here, even though we got two variables with the same name. Okay, that's being declared up here, and then we also got the same variable name value and being declared right here. And it doesn't conflict. It's just going to return blue because it's within the scope. Okay. I'll get to this here in just a second. Now, the reason this is coming up pink is because it's blind to this, and it just kind of bypasses that because it's not within what it can see, and it just looks up for the next other thing that it can find for color, and that's pink. This will work, but I have to call it. And for some reason, I was thinking it would work without you having to actually call it, but it works, but only when you call it. So there's that. So the way that would work is, so it does blue, undefined, and pink. If I do is to, what was it again? Sky color. Okay, then it turns up blue. So it's found when I call upon the function. For some reason, I was thinking it would just do it with a console log, which I still kind of think it should, but I don't know why it's not. Okay, so moving on. In the snippet below, here, we're declaring a function log sky color on line 12. So here, line 12, We're making a function. The function's name is log sky color. So the block for this function starts with the open curly bracket on line 12 and ends on line 20 with the closing curly bracket. So line 12 is the open curly bracket. Line 20 is the closing curly bracket. On line 13, we have a variable named dusk. So there's line 13, a variable declaring it's dusk, it's Boolean, it's reporting as true. On line 15 starts an if statement stating that if it's dusk, the color should be pink. So let's go to line 15. If it's dusk, then let the color be pink. So then it's going to return on the console log what this color is. If it's not dusk, make sure I'm getting this in order. Okay. On line 19, if it's not dusk, it will return blue because see how these curly brackets on lines 15 and 18, that indicates that block. So this is outside of that block, with outside of the scope. So what's going to look at is for the other thing of color, which is on line 14, and it will return blue. And this is even further out because here is the end of another block, and there's the beginning of that particular block. So there's two blocks in here. This is the start of one block. This is the end of that particular block. When it gets to this if statement, this is the beginning of that one block, and then here is the end of that particular block. So it doesn't see anywhere for it to be a color, so it's going to produce an error. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Go ahead and comment this out. And let's see. Const log sky color equals open close parentheses and the fat arrow and the open curly bracket. Right here. We're declaring the variable named dusk, and it's going to be Boolean, indicating it's true. Const dusk equals true. Colon or semicolon. We're going to declare our color is going to be blue. And we're going to say if it's dusk, not dusk, dusk, which is indicated right here, declared up there. We're going to open up a new block with an open curly bracket, and we are going to say let color be pink. Let color equals pink. And we're going to console log that color. Just using the color name here, the variable. And next, if we're going outside, so we're done with this particular block of code. So we're going to the next block. Console .log color. So this is going to actually look up in here outside of this. So what else is color outside of that? This. And let's see. And then I'm going to close that particular block. And then I'm going to do console log color again. And this one will produce an error. So let's see if I got this right. Log sky color. Okay, so pink, blue, and undefined. So I got that right, and we'll go over that. And just as an FYI, if you haven't seen it before, there's little lines here that indicates your line number. So where it says pink is indicative of line 53 on this file. So I got 53. This is where they got the information for pink. It's console log the color. If you look up here, the color is pink. So what we're saying is we are declared a function, log the sky color. We already said that it is true, that it is dusk. We let the color be blue. If dusk, so this is what we're starting with, the default stuff. And now we're asking if so we want our color to be blue. But if it is dusk, which we already said it was, then we want the color to be pink and to indicate that it's pink, which it did on the first line. And if that. Now, if it's not, then we want to go ahead and give it the default color, which was blue up here. And this little error is because everything's blocked out, so nothing can scope into, so to speak. It can't peek into anything because it doesn't have a scope to go into it. And that's where it got the undefined. I don't know if nothing happens on that. This was an error. There we go. Didn't really give you a whole lot more information, but it does show that it's an error. And this tells you line 59, which is where it's at. Yeah. So let's move on. So scope pollution. Scope pollution is when you have too many variables that can cause problems in your program. It makes it difficult to track changes or to track, makes it difficult to track different variables. And it can increase the chances for errors or bugs. So if you practice good scoping, will make the code more legible, make it easier, save your computer's memory because the code will no longer exist once that block finishes running. So to the review of scoping, here's some terminologies. I'm not going to go into that. This is a good article. This is one of the podcasts I like to listen to. He's on one of the podcasters. It's a duo. And this kind of goes into a little bit more. If I can get to work. There we go. So this, the whole concept of scoping happened with ES6, which you may remember happened in 2015, which is about 5 years ago. So they introduced a couple new ways that you can declare a variable. So there's the older way, which is var, and now we're using let and const. So these two have some attributes about them that are going to be helpful when creating variables. So he's going to do a quick review. So read this, and this will help with the understanding of the differences between var and let and const and information about scoping. So give that a read for part of this assignment as well. And I think I'm going to call it on this particular video, and then I'll make another video more inclusive of the assignment. Okay, so see ya.